by the syndicate meeting. But after that, exactly the time period, it is not, it
Okay,
will
ma'am.
come to the college. Then we can understand. Okay. So, before going to the industry supply curve, tell me up to this point if you have any query. That was the last diagram. And I said, if you have any query or what would I say? I will discuss it again. I couldn't remember.
Yes, ma'am. You said that.
Yes, yes. So look at this. If the price, again, I'm repeating the last slide of the last class again. Supply curve of the farm in the short run. So here, what am I audible properly?
Yes, ma'am. Clearly.
Okay, fine. So look, if the price is P1, then it is not an issue because for okay. Before discussing in this way, let me try in some other way. Average cost and average revenue. Okay, the diagram is giving us these two ideas. Average cost and average revenue. If we multiply average cost with Q, then I will get total cost, right? Similarly, if I multiply average revenue with Q, the same Q, then I will get total revenue, right? So this is the relation between the average section with the quantity. Now, if the price is P1, if the price is P1, then what is my average average cost? Yeah, average cost is from here to here. Look, this is my average cost. And what is the average revenue? From E1 to Q1, right? E1, Q1, this is my average revenue. And average cost will start somewhere below E1 to Q1. Okay, so which one is more? Average revenue is greater than average cost. That means total revenue is greater than total cost. So if price is P1, so there is profit. And if there is profit, the farm is very happy. He is producing at the price P1. Now, if the price is in between P2 and P3, okay, if the price is P2, if the price is P2, then look at E2, equilibrium E2. At E2, average cost is E2Q2. Average revenue is also E2Q2. Is that clear? If price is P2, average cost is E2Q2, average revenue is equal to E2Q2. Is that okay for you? Look at the diagram and tell. Because price, look, what is price? Price is equal to marginal revenue is equal to average revenue. Na? So that is why I am assuming if price is P2, then this is my average revenue. So average revenue is E2Q2. Is that okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And average cost is also E2Q2 because this is just the minimum of the average cost point, right? So both are same. AC is equal to AR. That means total revenue is equal to total cost. That means there is no profit as such. This is called supernormal profit. So no profit as such. But still, producer is happy. The farm is happy because the total cost is covered by its total income. Done. If the price is below P2, if the price is below P2, as I did in the last class, say the price is here. Okay, this is your price line. Okay, very uneven. But say this is your price line, the price is P5, right? This price is P5. Now for P5, what is your equilibrium? We know the equilibrium will be MR is equal to MC. So that will be the equilibrium. Look at this point. This is the equilibrium point. Okay, MR is equal to MC. So from that, you can draw a line like this and say it is Q5. So Q5 is the equilibrium quantity. Done. Now we have to check what is the average revenue and what is the average cost. Now average revenue is, so this is E5. So average revenue is E5Q5. Is that okay to you? Average revenue is E5 into Q5. Is this okay?
Yes, ma'am.
And what is average cost? To find out the average cost, we have to drag the line like this. So that will be the average cost. So what is the total cost? This is the total cost. Okay. This total area, like look. Oh, এখানে একটা নাম দিতে হবে, দাঁড়াও। A, B. The diagram is so clumsy, na? Every year that is a problem. A, B. So the total cost to produce Q5 is OABQ5. Is it clear? For Q5 level of output, the total cost is OABQ5.
Yes, ma'am.
Anyone? Any doubt with anyone? Acha. So this is the total cost, and the total revenue is, so this is so it is M. Yeah. So what is the total cost? Yeah, total cost is done. Total revenue is OME5Q5. Is that clear? OME5Q5. This is my total revenue. So total revenue is OME5 Q5. Okay, this is total revenue, and total cost we already said this is OABQ5. So is these two areas clear to all? Look at this. Total cost is OABQ5. Total revenue is OME5Q5. These areas are clear to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Now tell me which one is more. This part or this part? Which one is more?
Cost is more.
Total cost is more.
Total cost is more.
Yes. So I can say like this. So it's a loss, right? Negative profit. So it's a loss. Now the question is, if it is a loss, then whether farm will stay in the long run. Obviously, in the short run, he cannot stop. But if time permits, if it is a long run, whether the farm will stay in this production or not. So to find it out, we have to check what is the variable cost corresponding to Q5. Look, for Q5, where is the pen? Yeah. So for Q5, this is the average variable cost. Okay, I'm just drawing the line from ABC. So if I give a name like QP, Q, and this is P. So I can say the total variable cost is, just look at this and tell me if you have any problem. Total variable cost is O Q P Q5. Is that clear? Total variable cost for Q5 level of output.
Yes, ma'am.
So this is the total variable cost. So rest, that is QABP. Fixed cost is, so I'm just trying to find out the fixed cost now. So fixed cost is A, B, P and Q. This is the fixed cost. So given my total revenue, I can cover my variable cost and a part of fixed cost, right? This part is the loss, that is MABE. This part is the loss. I cannot cover this part. But the remaining part of the fixed cost, that is QME and P, this part I can cover with my revenue. So look, here the total cost is greater than total revenue. So it's no doubt it's a loss. But given this loss, if you want to stop your production, then you have to pay your fixed cost, because fixed cost is independent of your output level, right? Fixed cost is independent of your output level. So if you want to stop your production, still you have to pay your fixed cost. So if you stop your production, if the price is P5, then what will be your loss? The total fixed cost, that will be the loss. That means A, B, P, Q. That will be the loss if you stop your production. But if you stay in the production, then you have to bear the variable cost, and the variable cost is covered by your total income. And the part of the fixed cost is also covered by your total income. So in that case, what will be your loss? If you are staying in the production, then your loss is M, A, B, and E. Okay, this is your loss if you stay in the production, and this is the loss if you stay in the production. Okay, and this is the loss if you leave the production, if you stop the production. Now you have to check which one is more, because in the both case you are getting loss. Whether you are in the industry or you are leaving the industry, you have to face the loss. So here your objective should be to minimize the loss, not to maximize profit, because profit is nowhere. Given price P5, you cannot earn profit. Now you have to minimize your loss. So tell me, out of these two areas, which one is minimum? MABE or ABPQ?
MABE.
ABPQ. So in that case, no.
No, ma'am, I said MABE.
MABE. So this is the minimum. So how to earn this much of loss? If you can stay in the industry. So what is the conclusion? That if the price is P5, you should stay in the industry with loss, because this is how you can minimize your loss. Given the price P5, if you leave the industry, then the loss will be more. Okay, so it's better to stay in the industry even with the loss, and that is definitely in the short run. Now, what is the general conclusion? Look, if the price is P3, this is just at the minimum of AVC. P3 is corresponding to the minimum of the AVC. This is the margin actually. If the price is P3, আচ্ছা আমি বাকিগুলো সব মুছে দিই, কেমন? Look, where is your P3? P3 is just at the minimum of E3. So if you are at P3, that means your equilibrium is at E3, that is at the minimum of the AVC point. Then if, again, this is loss, because average cost is more than your average revenue. So it's a loss. But if you stay in the industry, your total loss will be the total fixed cost. If you leave the industry, your total cost will be the total fixed cost, the same. Okay, so if the equilibrium is E3, you are indifferent. In both the situation, you have to face the same amount of loss. So you are indifferent. But somehow, if the price is below P3, like P4 or less than that, in that case, if you stay, look, any price below P2 is giving you loss. But if the price is below P3, like P4, P5, whatever it is, just below P3, lower than P3, then the loss is such that the income is such that you cannot cover even your variable cost. So if you stay in the industry, your loss is total fixed cost and a part of the variable cost. But if you leave the industry, then your total loss will be only the fixed cost. If you stay in the industry, the loss is total fixed cost plus a part of the variable cost. And if you leave the industry, then the total loss will be only the total fixed cost. Because if you stop the production, there will be no variable factor, no variable cost. So that is how, if the price is below P3, it is better for the firm to leave the industry. So that is why P3 is very important price. The P3 corresponding to the minimum of AVC is very important. If the price is greater than P3, whatever be the situation, firm should stay in the industry. But if the price is less than P3, the loss will be so high as you are not covering your variable cost with your income. So it's better to leave the industry. So that is why the minimum of AVC is called the shutdown point. Okay. Up to this part I discussed. E3 is the shutdown point. So any doubt with that? Up to the shutdown point, do you have any problem? The minimum of AVC, that is E3 here, is called, any query up to this point?
No, ma'am.
This is called shut down point. Okay, this is called shut down point. Fine. Now, what is the supply curve? If price is changing and quantity is changing along the MC curve. If price is P1, equilibrium is E1, quantity is Q1. If price is P2, equilibrium is E2, quantity is Q2. So if price is changing, quantity is changing along the MC curve, and this is what your supply curve, right? So that is why MC curve is actually the supply curve of the firm, but it should be above the shutdown point, because below the shutdown point, firm will stop the production. So there will be no supply. That is why this part is the supply curve. This part of the MC curve is the supply curve. Fine. So supply curve is upward rising and all. So these things are there. But this is only the supply curve of the firm in the short run. So any doubt up to this point? Okay, let me go to the next one. This is the industry supply curve. So this is farm supply curve. Remember, this is the farm supply curve, and the next one is the industry supply curve. So industry supply curve is, look, in the industry there are infinite number of farms, right? So we are going to find out industry supply curve as a whole. Look, this is very simple. Look at the diagram. There are two diagrams here. The first one is for the farm, small q, and the second one is for the industry, capital Q. So this is just a representative farm. Okay, so this SS is the supply curve of the farm, and there are a lot of farms are there. So if you just sum up, if you just make the horizontal summation of all those individual supply curves, then you can get the industry supply curve. So that capital SS, obviously that will be flatter than the individual supply curve because it is the horizontal summation. So this relatively flatter demand supply curve is the industry supply curve. So the mathematically you can write Q, that is industry quantity, is the summation of the farm's quantity QY for prices greater than equal to AVC. And the industry supply will be 0 for price is less than AVC. That means below the shutdown point. Okay. So any problem with this slide?
Ma'am, so industry supply curve is the horizontal summation of farm supply curve.
Exactly. Simple.
Ma'am, the second one is the industry supply curve.
Hmm.
Okay, ma'am.
Okay. Now the long run. This is the long run. Look, what is the specialty of the long run? Why we have to learn long run separately? Because in the long run, it is, long run means relatively more time. So you can adjust your output level. You can decide whether to stay in the industry or to leave the industry. Okay, and this is one more thing happening in the long run. Say in the short run, the existing farms are earning profit. Okay, is that okay? Say in the short run, existing farms are earning profit. Is it clear to you? Say, is it clear to you?
Yes, ma'am.
Then in the long run, what will happen as there is free entry exit, the firms who were not in the short run in the industry, they are encouraged to enter in the industry, right? They are interested to be a part of this industry because they are watching the existing firms are earning profit, right? As there is free entry in the long run, that means when they will get the time, they can easily enter. No one can restrict it. So they are coming in the industry. They are coming inside the industry. So what happened in the long run? Number of farms that will rise. Okay? Up to this point, is it clear?
Yes, ma'am.
So number of farms in the industry will rise in the long run if in the short run existing farms are earning profit. Okay. Now what happened in the long run? Look, the market is fixed. The total demand in this industry is fixed. Say the total demand in this industry for this particular commodity is 100 units. Okay. This is the total demand in the industry. Initially, in the short run, there are 5 farms in this industry. And they are identical to each other because this is the assumption. So they are equally shared the market. So in the each of these farms, that is each of these 5 farms, they are selling 20 units, right? Because 20 into 5 is 100. Is it okay? Do you get the thing? Say the total industry demand is 100. In the short run, there are 5 farms. So each of these farms can sell 20 units in the short run. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Now, as after selling these 20 units, the farms are earning supernormal profit. And that is encouraging the new farms to enter in the industry in the long run. So, in the long run, new farms are entering. Say, in the long run, another 5 farms enter. Okay. So now in the industry, there are 10 firms. Initially it was 5, now it is 10. So 10 number of firms are selling their product in this industry in the long run. But the total market size is 100 as before. So that 100 is now equally divided between these 10 firms. So each of these firms will earn 10, or rather each of these firms can sell 10 units of output. Initially they could sell 20. Now they can sell 10 units of output. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. Clear.
So what I'm trying to say, the market share of each of these firms is falling. Okay, whether it is the existing farms, whether the new farms, the market share is reduced because of this entry. Now, what is the impact of this reduction of market share? Look, your profit. Your profit is the total revenue minus total cost. So your profit is dependent on the quantity sold. As you can sell lesser quantity than before, and the price is fixed because you are the farm, you have to accept the price, you are the price taker. Say the price is fixed, so as the quantity sold is falling, your profit level is falling, because if price is rising, profit should rise. If quantity is rising, profit should rise, but here quantity is falling, so your profit is falling. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Now, but still you are earning some profit. And as you are earning the profit, new farms are interested to enter. So this process continues. So when it will stop? When there will be no profit. When total revenue is equal to total cost for all the existing farms, that means there is no profit, then new farms are not interested to enter. So then the entry will stop. So already 5 farms entered, but the 6th farm will not come because the 6th farm is watching. The 10 farms are earning, they are in the situation of total revenue is equal to total cost. So no such profit they are earning. So now the 6th farm will stop its entry. So the entry is stopped in this way. Up to this point, is it clear?
Ma'am, I have a
Can
doubt.
Bolo?
Ma'am, when the sixth firm stop to just enter the market, when profit equals to zero or profit is less than zero?
No, profit is equal to 0. If it
Okay.
is less than 0, look, if it is less than 0, that is the long run, so existing farms will leave. That is also possible, na?
Yes, ma'am. Free entry, free exit.
Yes, so you can leave also. So this is how ultimately the situation will arrive when total revenue is equal to total cost and that pie profit is equal to 0. Okay?
Yes, ma'am. Understood.
So you can leave, you can enter, whatever you want to do, you can do. But ultimately the market will stable. That entry exit, that will stop when there is total revenue is equal to total cost. Done. So all the existing farm, the situation, the condition for all the existing farms in the long run is total revenue is equal to total cost. Very good. Now the next question is, so it is clear for us that profit is 0. Now the next question is, if profit is 0, then why the farms are producing? Because what we know, that objective of the farm is to maximize the profit. And in the perfectly competitive industry, in the long run, all the existing farms are earning 0 profit. So why should they stay? They should leave. They should also stop the production. So this is there is a contradictory situation. So we cannot match with our idea. So here comes, to clarify this confusion, here comes a new concept called supernormal profit. What is supernormal profit? Which we used to call as the profit is actually the supernormal profit. That pi is equal to total revenue minus total cost. We call it as profit, na? We are writing like this. Look, generally we are writing like profit, that is pi. Chok buje likhe feli amra. Pi is equal to total revenue, that is P into Q. P may be dependent on Q or may be fixed, minus total cost, C function of Q. So this is the profit that we know. But now, this is the new information to us, that these profit, the actual name of this profit is supernormal profit. The actual name of this profit is supernormal profit. So what happened in the long run? In the long run, this supernormal profit is equal to 0. Clear? But still, the confusion is not clear yet. But whether the concept of supernormal profit is clear to you or not, this is my question.
Ma'am, can you repeat the supernormal profit for
Is the normal, whichever we know as the profit, the actual name of that profit is supernormal profit.
Okay.
So this is zero. The supernormal profit is zero. That is clear. In the long run, supernormal profit of all the existing firm, that will be zero. Okay. Okay. Any doubt
Yes,
with
ma'am.
that? Anyone else? আর কারো কিছু doubt আছে এটা নিয়ে? I will explain that still why the farms are producing and all that I will explain. But just I want to know whether the concept of supernormal profit is clear to you or not, because this is something new.
So ma'am, normally what we call the profit is actually the supernormal profit.
Exactly. The actual name of that profit is supernormal profit.
Okay, ma'am.
Now you can ask me, if supernormal, then what is normal? Look, normal profit is also written here. Normal profit. So what is normal profit? Look, you are the producer, right? So what are the factors of production? All of you know there are basically 4 factors of production: land, labor, capital, and enterprise. So that entrepreneur, they are also, you are the firm, no? So you are actually the manager of the production unit. Okay. So the farm owner, the owner of this farm, he is actually managing the total production. As a manager, he should get some money from the farm, and he is getting some money from the farm as the manager, as an entrepreneur. Okay. So the money he is getting from the farm is under the heading of total cost. So total cost is what? The cost for the factors of production. The cost for land, cost for labor, cost for capital, cost for entrepreneur. You, the manager of the farm, is the entrepreneur. So as the entrepreneur, you are also getting money from the farm. So your salary, I should say it is your salary. So that salary is already there under the heading of total cost. Is it okay? Up to this point, is it okay? Everything is
Yes,
not
ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
So you are getting salary. It is not that you are coming with the blank. Your purse is blank. So it is not like a profit is zero means you are earning nothing. No, you are a part of the factors of production. Like all other factors, you are also getting your salary. And what is the name of your salary? The salary of the laborer is called the wage, right? The price of the land is called rent. Similarly, the salary of the management is called profit. So that profit you are earning, your earning is not zero, but you are not earning anything more than this profit. Okay. Supernormal profit is zero, but normal profit is there because it is under the heading of total cost. It is incorporated under the heading of total cost. So you are earning your profit, but you are not earning your supernormal profit. Extra is not coming to you, but the remuneration as a management, that you are getting. Is that okay? So this is the income which you should get as the manager, as a part of the factors of production, is called normal profit. So that you are earning even in the long run, because you are one of those factors of production. So you are getting your normal profit, but more than normal profit, that you cannot earn in the long run. Now I have discussed all about the normal and supernormal. Now think of it and ask your query.
Ma'am,
Yes.
you said that in long run more than normal profit is not earned. Ma'am, can you please repeat why this happens?
Yeah. Why is discussed that if you can earn more than that, that is the supernormal profit. And in the long run, supernormal profit is not possible, because if you earn it in the short run, then new firms are interested to enter, they will enter in the long run, and they will take the share of your supernormal profit. And this is how ultimately the profit will be zero. That pie, that supernormal profit, that will be zero. But that doesn't mean as a owner of the farm, as a manager of the farm, you are getting zero wage. No. Your wage is called profit, because you are the entrepreneur. So as that, you are getting your profit share. And this is under the heading of total cost. Like laborers are getting their wage, capital is getting their rent. So you as a manager of this farm is also getting your wage, which is called the profit. And to be specific, that profit is called normal profit. So normal profit you are getting even in the long run, but more than normal profit you cannot get in the long run. If you can get somehow, new farms will enter and take your share. It will be shared among all those new farms, and ultimately it will be zero. বুঝতে পারলে?
হ্যাঁ ম্যাম।
Any other query? Take your time, no issue. Take your time. Think of it. Okay.
Yes, ma'am, it's okay.
Okay. So the normal profit, the supernormal profit, that debate is over. So we are sure that, okay, in the long run, all the existing farms are earning normal profit, but no supernormal profit. Done. So if it is, that means the profit will be zero. And if profit will be zero, that means total revenue is equal to total cost. So look at the second bullet. It is total revenue. So the equilibrium condition is total revenue is equal to total cost. P, that is P bar, into Q is equal to C function of Q. Total revenue is equal to total cost, because pi is equal to 0. So in that case, your profit, rather is price, the given price, a price is given to you because you are the farm. So that given price is equal to C, total cost divided by Q, that is long run average cost. Okay. So what is the equilibrium condition? That price is equal to long run average cost. So if you want to draw this diagram, look at this diagram. This is your LSE curve. This is your price. Equilibrium condition is price is equal to LSE. And obviously it will be on the upward rising part of the LMC. The sufficient condition, that is SOC, second order condition, is just like the short run. So the equilibrium must be on the upward sloping part of your LMC. And the equilibrium condition is price is equal to LSE. So both will be satisfied at the minimum of your LSE. Both will be satisfied at the minimum of your LSE, because at this point you are getting the LMC, upward sloping LMC. Okay, you can get LMC here, you can get upward sloping LMC here or here. So if you draw the price line corresponding to that, you will get price is equal to MC. But the equilibrium condition is price is equal to LAC and upward rising LMC as the sufficient condition. So both conditions will be satisfied at the minimum of LSE. So this is the specialty of the long run equilibrium and the perfectly competitive market, that the equilibrium will be at the minimum of LSE. Okay. It is called the minimum of LSE, and there is a specific name of this minimum of LSE. It is called break-even point. No profit, no loss. This is called break-even point. Let me write it. The minimum of LSE, like the shutdown point, the minimum of AVC is called the shutdown, but here there is no AVC, right? Because everything is variable. LSE is AVC actually. So the minimum of LSE is called break even point. Break even point. No profit, no loss. Okay, equilibrium with no profit, no loss. Fine. So this is called break even point. Any doubt with the long run equilibrium in this slide? Any doubt in this slide?
Ma'am, the point E, there is a specific point, meant to say LMC is passing through the LSC mean, because in this diagram there is some difference.
No. This is I could not do that, but it should be
Okay, ma'am.
the minimum.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. Any other question?
Ma'am,
Hmm?
ma'am, ma'am, why is P not above the minimum of LSE?
Here.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, but LMC should be, you must have your LMC at this point also. But LMC is not here. LMC is here. Okay.
Ma'am, can you please repeat the conditions of break-even point once more?
Yeah, break-even means no profit, no loss. That means no supernormal profit actually. Look at the E, AR is equal to AC. That means total revenue is equal to total cost. That means supernormal profit is 0. That is the specialty of the break-even point. It is the no profit, no loss situation.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, so at break-even point, pi equals to 0, that means TR equals to TC. That we require. Okay, ma'am.
TR is equal to TC means AR is equal to AC. And AR is price. So price is equal to AC. This is here.
Yes, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, above the minimum point, ma'am, means at some point above it, ma'am, P can be equals to LSE. So, ma'am, why not? So, ma'am,
But what is the sufficient condition? The sufficient condition is your LMC must be upward rising. But here, where is your LMC? LMC is not passing through this point. LMC must pass through this point, na? LMC is here somewhere. It is upward rising, but it is not through this particular point.
so, ma'am, the sufficient condition is that the LMC should be upward rising and pass to that point.
That is there.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
it should be LMC. Only MC is written. But when you will draw the diagram, it should be price, LMC, LSE. Okay, everything long run.
Ma'am,
Yes.
and ma'am, in the long run, the firms are continuing to produce because they are earning normal profit.
Exactly.
And ma'am, when the total cost will exceed total revenue, then they will leave the industry.
They can leave because it's long run. Free entry exit is there.
Okay, ma'am. Okay.
Any other query? Okay. So the supply curve. This is the last part actually. Long run supply curve. Look, in the long run, we know there are three types of returns to scale: constant returns to scale, increasing returns to scale, and decreasing returns to scale. Based on different type of returns to scale, we will get different type of long run supply curve of the industry. Of the industry. Here we are going to derive long run supply curve of the industry. Okay, the short run supply curve of the industry, it was very simple, just the horizontal summation of the existing farm supply curve. And what is the farm supply curve? It is the marginal cost curve of that farm above the shutdown point. So if you just sum up those MC curves of the farms horizontally, then we will get the industry supply curve, which was the short run. But in the long run, the thing is not so easy. Just make the horizontal summation and we'll get the supply curve. No, not so easy. Here we have to consider the concept of returns to scale. And as we know, there are three types of returns to scale. So there will be three types of industry supply curve in the long run. Okay, supply curve may be downward sloping as well. Okay, so we will check one by one. তোমরা দেখতে পাবে না, এক মিনিট। Look at this. There are two diagrams. Let us first discuss about the constant cost industry. Okay, constant cost industry means if you change labor and capital by 20%, then output will also change by 20%. Okay, so this is constant cost. And look, why it is needed here? What is the importance of it here? If you change, okay, let me discuss it first. If you change labor and capital, say by 20%, then your total cost will also change by 20%, right? Is it clear? Say you change your labor and capital by 20%. Wage is constant, rent is constant. So the total cost, what is the total cost? What is total cost? Total cost is, in the long run, total cost is W into L plus R into K. W into L plus R into K. W and R, these are given. We cannot change all those. These are independent. But if you increase, say, if you increase labor by 20% and capital by 20%, then the total cost will also increase by 20%. Do you agree with me?
Yes, ma'am.
So total cost is increased by 20%. Now, what is the constant cost? Constant cost means output is also increased by 20%. Okay, so total cost is increased by 20%. Output is also increased by 20%. Then what is the average cost? Average cost is, we know by definition, average cost is total cost divided by quantity. And here the total quantity is increased by 20%. Total cost is increased by 20%, quantity is also increased by 20%. That means the ratio is constant. That is, average cost is constant under the constant cost industry. বুঝতে পারলে? This is the significance of constant cost industry in this discussion. That average cost will be constant. And what about the marginal cost? Tell me. Will it constant? Or will it be same as before, or it will change? What do you think? Think of it and then tell me. It is constant cost industry, huh?
Ma'am, it is increased by 20%.
So that means marginal cost car will be same as before. Change of total cost, right? Marginal cost is the change of total cost. So what is MC? Let me write it. Look. Change of total cost due to change of quantity. This is how we are writing it. Change of quantity. Okay. So here del C, এটা কি হলো? কিরম হচ্ছে কেন? Okay. Here del C is kishab jana holo, huh? Here del C is changed by 20% and del Q is also changed by 20%. So MC is constant. MC, the MC is constant. So MC curve will not shift. SC curve will not shift. MC curve will also not shift. Is that okay?
Ma'am, will MC be equal to 1?
Equal to?
Ma'am, because
Equal to what?
both increase by 20. Ma'am, equal to 1.
Yes, MC is equal to 1. That means there will be no change in MC as well. That is what I want to say.
So, ma'am, the AC and MC both remain same.
This is what I want to say. There will be no shifting of the AC curve. There will be no shifting of MC curve. Okay? Because everything is changing by 20%. Done? Now look. The first one, this is the farm. And this is the long run industry. Okay. Initially, the flatter, this curve is LC curve and this is your MC curve. And the price is P bar. Okay. Now, given the price is P bar, look how the price P bar is determined. It is determined in the industry. In the industry, there is normal supply and demand curve for the farm, for the industry, for that particular commodity. So that demand curve is here, because industry is a larger set, the whole set. So in the whole set, we are having normal demand and supply curve for that particular commodity. Now, given this demand supply curve set, the equilibrium is here. And corresponding to this equilibrium, the price P bar is there. Now, that P bar price, which is actually the industry determined, this price is given to all the existing firms. So that P bar is given to all the existing firms. Now, in the long run, given that P bar, the equilibrium will be E. Okay, so this is our starting point. Up to this point, if you have any query, please ask.
Ma'am, what are the headings of the graphs? Can you please repeat?
Constant, the industry supply curve under the constant cost industry. This is the heading, okay? Industry supply, derivation of the industry supply curve for constant cost industry.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, why will,
Yes.
ma'am, why will uh, E be the starting point?
Nothing. This is just the point. Say we have started with the equilibrium in the industry. Because we have to start from somewhere, na? So say the initial equilibrium is there at the point A. That's all. Okay. If A is the equilibrium, then P bar will be the industry equilibrium price. So that determined price is given to the firm. So that is why P bar is given to the firm, and it is the long run. Okay. Then there is a long run equilibrium. So given the price P bar, the existing firm's long run equilibrium will be E. Okay.
Okay, ma'am.
So this is our starting point. No change is there. Everything is very, very, ideal situation. This is the first long run equilibrium. A is our starting long run equilibrium. Now, due to some change, we are not concerned about the change. Due to some change, there is a shift of the demand curve. Okay, the demand has increased. In the industry, demand has increased. So the demand curve is D1 now. Okay. So the new demand curve is D1 now. This is the new demand curve. Now, given this D1, there is another equilibrium is B. I'm not telling this is long run. No. This is just an equilibrium in the industry. The new equilibrium in the industry. B. Okay. Now, given that new equilibrium B, the new price is also there. So the new price, the market clearing price, the industry market clearing price is P1. So that P1 is now given to all the existing firms. So that P1 is coming to that existing firm as the given price. Okay. Now at this price P1, what will be the equilibrium? This is the equilibrium. Can you take it? Look. Is it okay? That will be the equilibrium because AR is equal to or P is equal to LAC. That should be the equilibrium when LMC is upward rising. So this is the equilibrium. Initially. I'm not telling this is long run.
Ma'am, but LMC is not passing through this point.
Yes,
So,
that
ma'am.
is why I'm saying it is not long run. It is not long run.
Okay, okay, ma'am.
It is not long run. Huh? It is just the position the existing firms has to produce at this point because AR is equal to SE. But what happen if this is the price? Because the price is P1. The price is P1. Initially, the price was P bar. Now the existing farms are getting price P1. Now, given the price P1, if the farm is still producing at E, given the price P1, if the farm is still producing at E, okay, do you get the point? Given the price P1, if the farm is producing at the point E, then what is its condition now? Let me check it. This is the quantity he is still producing at E, okay? You are saying he is, this is not the equilibrium, so I'm leaving it. Fine. So he is still producing at E. So E is produced by the existing farms. So this is his average cost. But what will be the average revenue? This is the average revenue. So which one is more? Average revenue is greater than average cost. Is it clear?
Ma'am, can you please repeat?
Yeah. Look, the initial long run equilibrium for the firm is E. And the price for the firm is P bar. And at P bar, it is the normal profit, as it is the long run equilibrium. Due to some change, there is an increase in demand in the industry. So the demand curve has shifted to D1. Now, with this new demand curve, there will be a new equilibrium at B. If B is the new equilibrium, then the market clearing price in the industry is P1. So now there is no P bar. P1 is the new price determined by the industry, and this price is given to the firm now. If P1 is the price and he is at E, that is his initial equilibrium, so given that E, he is producing this much. And this is his average cost because this is the position of his LSE curve. Okay, so this is his average cost. But P1 is the new price to him. So he is producing with this much of average cost, but the average revenue for the same quantity is now higher than before. So I can say average revenue is greater than average cost now. No equilibrium is here now. Okay, no equilibrium in the firm. Firm is trying to settle down with a new equilibrium. But when the new price is given to him, then what is his situation? Because he is still producing at E. So he is producing this much of quantity. His average cost is same as before, but average revenue has increased because of increase in price. So we can conclude, given his output level, now average revenue is greater than average cost. বুঝতে পারলে?
Yes, ma'am, now clear.
Is it okay to all?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, fine. So now the average revenue, look, there is no equilibrium. I have not said that this is equilibrium, that is equilibrium for the firm right now. No, he is trying to find out his equilibrium. So average revenue is greater than average cost for all the existing firm. That means total revenue is greater than total cost for this quantity. If average revenue is greater than average cost, then total revenue is greater than total cost.
Yes, ma'am.
That means there is profit. There is supernormal profit. Right? That supernormal profit is here for the existing firms. So it is not the long run for the firm now. It is the short run. From the long run, in the long run, there is a change. So now we are discussing about this change. So it is not the long run equilibrium for the new firms. Given the equilibrium quantity, they are watching now that because of the increase in price, they are getting some supernormal profit. So as there is supernormal, up to supernormal profit, is it clear to all?
Yes, ma'am.
So as there is supernormal profit by all the existing firms, so new firms will enter. Because this is the nature. If the existing firms are earning supernormal profit, then new firm will enter. Okay. So what is the conclusion? B is not, in the industry, B is not giving us any long run stability. It is only the short run equilibrium. Given this new equilibrium, there is a supernormal profit of all the existing firms, which is encouraging the new firms to enter in the industry. Okay, up to this point, is it okay?
Ma'am, can you please repeat why B is not giving the long run equilibrium?
Yes, because if B is the equilibrium, then the price is P1 and the existing firms are earning supernormal profit with P1 price. So B is not the long run, because in the long run, there will be no supernormal profit. So B is the equilibrium only for the time being. It will change. Okay, in the long run, it will change. In the
Okay,
long
ma'am.
run, it will change. Okay?
Okay, ma'am.
So, so the existing firms are earning supernormal profit. And we know if it is earning supernormal profit, the new firms will enter. And as the new firms will enter, in the industry, the supply curve will shift rightward to S1. বুঝতে পারছো? More firms are coming, more firms are coming in the industry. So that horizontal summation is also shifting to the right. There is an increase in supply by the industry. That means the supply curve has shifted towards S1. Is shifting to the right. Fine. The supply curve is shifting to the right. Up to this point, is it okay? Don't look at S1. The supply curve is shifting to the right. Do you get the answer why it is shifting to the right?
Yes, ma'am.
Because at B, the existing firms are earning supernormal profit. So the new firms are entering. As more firms are entering, and this is industry, it is the horizontal summation of all the individual supply curve. So this supply curve S is shifting to the right. Okay. Ultimately, it will shift to S1. And if it is shifted to S1, then we are getting new equilibrium C. And at the equilibrium C, the equilibrium price will be P bar. So now this P bar is given to the firm. Now the existing firms who have their equilibrium at E, now they are watching whatever my total revenue is equal to my total cost. So now the existing firms are earning normal profit. Okay. So C is the long run equilibrium. Look, there is not a jump from S to S1. The S1 is shifting towards S1. S is shifting towards S1. Maybe there are so many supply curves are there in between S and S1. It will take some time. But when S1 is shifted a little bit to the right, the price will be say P2 or like that. But with that P2, the existing firms are earning supernormal profit. So new firms are coming. This is a phased one, okay? It's a process. So if the price is P2, the new firms are coming. Again, the supply curve is shifting to the right. Say it is now P3. The P3, the existing firms are earning supernormal profit. So again, new firms are coming. The supply curve is shifting to S5 like this. So this process is going on, and ultimately the supply curve will shift to S1 so that the equilibrium price will be P bar again. And why? The supply curve will stop at S1 because at P bar, existing firms are earning normal profit. So no new firm will come in the industry after that. So the shifting of the supply curve will stop at S1. Is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. Clearly understood.
আরো বাকিটা দেখো।
Ma'am, so ma'am, C is the final equilibrium point because here all the firms are obtaining just a normal profit.
Exactly. But what is the difference between A and C? Look, A is the initial long run equilibrium. C is the final long run equilibrium. So what is the difference? Why there is a gap between A and C? Because new firms enter. New firms enter. That is why you have shifted your S to S1. And that is why you are getting the new equilibrium C. So this is the only difference between A and C. Because the price is same for both the equilibrium points.
Ma'am,
Yes?
ma'am, can you please repeat the difference part, that why there is difference between A and C?
Yeah, because new firms are entering. That is why your supply curve has shifted to the right, and that is why you are getting C. But both are the long run equilibrium.
Yes, ma'am.
Any query? So look, industry supply curve has not determined yet. Huh? This is just the discussion about the equilibrium points. Bolo?
Ma'am, what is the application of CRS in this respect?
Yes, I will explain one by one. First, look, as I said, if it is CRS, so there will be no shifting of your LSE and LMC curves. So look, your LSE and LMC curves are unchanged at their own position. They are not shifted. We are discussing everything with respect to E. If it is constant, if it is increasing returns to scale, or rather if it is decreasing returns to scale, then this set of the curve, it will shift upward because average cost will rise. If it is decreasing returns to scale, then average cost will fall. So this curve, the total set, it will shift downward. But as it is constant returns to scale, there will be no change in MC and AC. So that is why there is no need of shifting this set. This is the importance of CRS here. This is how you can show there is CRS.
Okay, ma'am.
And regarding the, okay, so what we are getting, we have started from A, long run equilibrium. Due to change in demand, for the time being, we have a new equilibrium. There is a short run equilibrium B. Because of this B, there is supernormal profit of the existing firm. So new firms are entering. So B is the short run equilibrium. As for B, supernormal profit is there. So B is the short run equilibrium. And as there is supernormal profit, new firms are entering. So supply curve is shifted to the right. Ultimately, it will reach to S1 so that we are getting the new equilibrium C, for which the price is same like P bar. The equilibrium price is same as before, that is P bar. So again, there will be no supernormal profit. So new firms will not enter. It will be the stability for the industry as a whole. That is why C is the long run equilibrium. Okay, so A is the long run, B is the short run, C is the long run equilibrium. Now, what is my objective? My objective is to find out the long run supply curve. Okay, so how to get it? If you join the long run equilibrium points, you will get long run supply curve. So here, if I join A and C, the line is parallel to the horizontal axis. So what is the conclusion? If constant cost industry is there, then the long run supply curve will be parallel to the horizontal axis. Okay, it is parallel to the horizontal axis. Okay, this is the ultimate derivation of the supply curve. Any query from this diagram? The discussion part is over for this diagram. If you have any query, ask.
Ma'am, can you repeat the last part? When will it be horizontal?
If it is constant cost industry, then it is horizontal. Because A and C both corresponds to the same price. A is the long run, C is the long run equilibrium. So if you join all the long run equilibrium, you will get the average cost. And as they corresponds to the same level of price, so it is parallel to the horizontal axis.
Okay, ma'am.
So anyone else?
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, along the long run supply curve, ma'am, which we now derive, ma'am, here we are getting two different output level for P bar, but ma'am, in the left side diagram, ma'am, the output level is only one output level at P bar,
So
ma'am.
this is for the firm. But here we are getting more output because number of farms has increased.
Oh, okay, ma'am.
Hmm.
Ma'am, first one is the for individual
This is for
farm.
a single farm. This is for a single farm. But this is for the industry. And in the industry, the output can increase with a constant price because it is the long run. Na? So in the long run, new farms can enter. But whoever is entering, whoever is producing, they are getting this same picture. This picture is constant for all.
Okay, ma'am. Okay, ma'am.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, the in the right-hand side diagram, ma'am, the horizontal line will be the long run supply or the long run cost curve.
No. This is the long run supply curve. This is long run supply curve. It should be supply, not the average. Long run supply curve.
Okay, ma'am.
Don't write it LRAC. No, it's wrong. Long run supply curve.
Ma'am, so the final equilibrium is at C point.
Yes, it is at C. A is the long run equilibrium. B is the short run equilibrium. C is again the long run equilibrium. And that is our ultimate equilibrium. Given the change in demand. Now, if further change in demand is there, again we will get another, say, D. So this is how, but the D will be on this line parallel to the horizontal axis. Okay? And this is how we are getting this line, which is a straight line parallel to the horizontal axis. So it is a perfectly elastic supply curve. Now, if price is not changing, you can change your quantity. Because your average cost is not changing, just price is rising, supernormal profit is there for the existing farms, new farms are coming inside, and you are getting the new output level. So this is how you are moving along the LR long run supply curve. Okay, so I'm going to the next one. Increasing cost. Look, it is a little bit complex. It is a little bit complex. So you have to, as it is, this type of diagram we already done, so that will be easier for you to understand. Initial demand curve and initial supply curve, they are getting equilibrium at A. So A is our starting point. Okay. Now given this A, the price is determined say at P bar. So that P bar is given to the existing farms, and as it is the long run equilibrium, through P bar there is a tangency of LAC curve. Okay. So an LMC. So LAC 1 and LMC 1, this is the set of the initial cost curves. Okay. And this is the initial equilibrium of the existing farms. So this is the starting point. Starting point is okay for all? Is the starting point is clear to all?
Yes, ma'am,
Yes,
but
ma'am.
it is very much stretched, ma'am, that diagram.
দাঁড়াও দেখো এবার কি কিছু হলো বেটার
হ্যাঁ বেটার ম্যাম
একটু বেটার আচ্ছা দাঁড়াও একটু ভালো করি আই এম ট্রাইং ছোট হয়ে যাচ্ছে Okay, so SSC1, LMC1, this is the first set of curve for the farm. P bar is the initial equilibrium price, the long run equilibrium price. This is our starting point. So we have started from the long run equilibrium. Now there is an increase in demand. Done. There is an increase in just before. So the demand curve has shifted to D2. Okay. Now, given this D2, the new equilibrium in the industry is B. Corresponding to this B, the price is also different. Say the price is P1. So all the existing firms initially who were getting the price P bar, now they are getting the price P1. Okay. So P1 quite high. So it is clear that their average cost is less than average revenue. So all the existing firms are earning supernormal profit. As existing firms are earning supernormal profit, so new firms will enter. And as new firms are entering, the supply curve is shifting from S1 towards S2, from S1 to the right. Okay. Now, as supply curve is shifting from S1 to S2, equilibrium price is falling. Okay. But this is not all actually. It is increasing cost industry. Increasing cost industry means if you increase, look, increasing cost industry means it is DRS. Increasing cost industry means if you increase your input by 20%, then your output is rising less than 20%. So that your average cost is increasing. Okay, that is why it is called increasing cost industry. Okay, so again I'm telling increasing cost industry means if you change input say by 20%, then your output is rising by less than 20%. So the average value is rising. You are spending relatively more as compared to your return. Okay, so your average cost is rising. Is it okay? The definition of increasing cost industry? Increasing cost in industry means decreasing returns to scale, DRS. If you increase labor and capital by 20%, then output is rising by less than 20%. So if your total cost is rising by 20%, then the quantity is rising by less than 20%. So that the ratio, that is average cost, it is rising. And as average cost is rising, it is called the increasing cost industry. Is it okay? ভেবে ভেবে বলো, হ্যাঁ, হুড়মুড় করার কিছু নেই, টাইম আছে।
ম্যাম
Yes.
ম্যাম মানে ডিক্রিজিং রিটার্নস টু স্কেল মানে মানে যত ইনপুট দিচ্ছি তত আউটপুট পাচ্ছি না,
হচ্ছে
তো
না, হচ্ছে না।
হ্যাঁ, তো ম্যাম সেই হিসেবে বেশি ইনপুট দিতে হবে যার জন্য আমার টোটাল কস্ট মানে
বেড়ে যাচ্ছে,
ইনক্রিজ হচ্ছে।
অ্যাভারেজ কস্ট বেড়ে যায়। We are concerned about the average.
ওকে ম্যাম।
If I say I am increasing labor by capital by 20%, then my total cost is increased by 20%. But my output is not increased by 20%, say it is increased by 10%. So the ratio, that is total cost by quantity, this is increasing. No? Numerator is rising more than the denominator. So the ratio is rising. So the average cost is rising. And the same thing for marginal cost as well. So the set of average cost and marginal cost, it will shift upward for the increasing cost industry. So you have to spend more. You have to spend more and more to get the same change of input, same change of output, sorry. You have to spend more and more to get the same change of output, as he was saying. That is why increasing cost industry. Okay. Okay. So may I explain this diagram?
Yes, ma'am.
So
Ma'am,
this is
why difference? Can you please explain that once?
which one?
Ma'am, why increasing cost in industry
Because
implying
average cost is rising. Okay, let me write. I was trying not to write, but again, okay, look, the total cost. Huh? Total cost is what? Total cost is WL plus RK. Okay, R and K are given, we know. Say we have increased labor and capital by 20%. So the total cost is rising by 20%. Do you agree with me?
yes, ma'am.
Okay. But quantity is not rising by 20%. Quantity is rising by less than 20%. Say it is rising by, say, 10%. So what about the average cost? Average cost is rising. Average cost is changing, first of all. Average cost is changing. Average cost is, by definition, it is the total cost divided by quantity, right? Now here, my total cost is changing by 20%, but the output is changing by less than 20%. That means the ratio is rising. So average cost curve will shift upward. Is it okay?
Oh, yes, ma'am.
And the same thing for marginal cost. Marginal cost is also rising. The change of marginal cost is what? Marginal cost is change of total cost due to change of quantity. Right? So here the quantity is changed by 10%, but the total cost is changed by 20%. So marginal cost is also rising. Okay, so the conclusion is the set of LSE and LMC, it will shift upward. Now is it okay?
Yes, ma'am. Now clear.
Okay, so now come back to the diagram. So what I am saying, that initial equilibrium, starting equilibrium is A, corresponding to, I'm explaining this diagram again, huh? Corresponding to this equilibrium point A, the price is P bar. It is the long run. So corresponding to this price, we have the minimum of LSE and the existing firms are producing or some amount of commodity, whatever it is. So this is the starting point. Due to sudden change, there is an increase in demand. The demand curve is shifted to D2. For D2, we are getting the new equilibrium B. Corresponding to the B, the price is P1. So all the existing firms are now earning P1, not P bar. Okay, as they are earning P1, they are watching that their total, they are earning supernormal profit. As average revenue is greater than average cost, total revenue is greater than total cost, so profit is greater than 0. So now the existing firms are earning profit. So as for P1, existing firms are earning profit, so we can understand B is not the long run equilibrium. B is the short run equilibrium. Now, as the existing firms are earning profit over the time, in the long run, the new firms are interested to come. So they are coming. New firms are entering into the market. Now, when they are entering into the market, the supply curve is shifted from S1 to the right. But at the same time, the average cost, the long run average cost and long run marginal cost, it will shift upward because it is increasing cost industry. Okay, and as it is shifting upward, the new equilibrium price should be P2. So look, supply curve is shifting from S1 to S2. So price is falling down, and actually the industry is trying to get back another long run equilibrium. To get back the long run equilibrium, we should have a price which corresponds to the minimum of LSE, right? Then you will be settled down again. But as your LSE curve has shifted upward because it is increasing cost industry, so the new equilibrium price will be P2, not P bar. If P1 is falling down up to P2, then you will get the no profit, no loss situation. So corresponding to P2, what will be the supply curve? S2. Okay, so supply curve is shifted to the right, but not to that extent, because two opposite things are happening on the industry. The first of all, industry new firms are entering. That is why the supply curve has shifted. But the average cost is rising. That is why the supply curve has a tendency to shift to the left. So two opposite effects are working on the supply curve. New firms are entering, so supply curves are interested to shift to the right. Average cost is rising, the supply curve is interested to shift to the left. Two opposite forces working on the supply curve. Ultimately, the supply curve will shift up to S2. And if it is shifted to S2, we are getting new equilibrium C. Corresponding to C, the price is P2. And for P2, we are getting the new equilibrium, in the long run equilibrium. Okay, so A is the long run equilibrium, B is the short run equilibrium, C is another long run equilibrium. If I join A and C, the supply curve is like this, which is upward rising. Do one thing, আমি তো গড়গড় করে বলে গেলাম. Do one thing, draw this diagram in your copy. This is my suggestion. Draw this diagram in your copy. Try to understand it. Whatever I said, because the recording will be uploaded, try to understand it. If it is not clear, ask me in the next class. I will definitely repeat this diagram again. Okay? I'm giving you the time. Draw this diagram in your copy. How to draw? First draw D1 and S1. Okay? Get A. From A, make this dotted line to the diagram. It will be P. Corresponding P bar, draw LSC1 and LMC1. Okay, like it will be the equilibrium. Done. The next step is shift D1 significantly. There is a huge gap between D1 and D2. It will be D2 now. Corresponding to D2, the equilibrium is B. From B, draw this dotted line for P1. Okay. Are you drawing?
Yes, ma'am, it is done.
Oh, it is done. So in between P1 and P bar, draw LSC2 and LMC2. Corresponding to that, there will be one P2. So just extend that P2 for the next diagram. It will intersect D2 at certain point. Draw S2 corresponding to this point. It will be your C. The new equilibrium will be C. Then join A and C, you will get the long run. So this is how you can draw your diagram. Maybe some back calculation, but this is how you can neatly draw the diagram. Draw the diagram in your copy. Try to understand it. Ask me the question in the next class. I will definitely explain this diagram again.
Ma'am,
Yes.
ma'am, from here, can we conclude one thing that in the increasing cost industry, the gap between two demand curve is higher than the gap between two supply curve, but
Yes,
in
it
the decreasing cost industry, it should be like the gap
Just
between two
opposite.
demand curve, yes, ma'am, less than, yes.
But why it is, I explained that two opposite forces are working on the supply side. Look, we don't have any influence on the shifting of the demand curve because it is shifted because of some outside factor. But there is some influence on the supply curve shifting. Two opposite forces are working. Average cost has increased, so just like increase in cost of production, so supply curve has a tendency to shift to the left. And on the other hand, more farms are entering. This is the industry supply curve, na? So more supply curves are entering, more farms are entering. So that is encouraging the industry supply curve to shift to the right. So two opposite forces are working on the supply curve so that ultimately it will shift to the right, but not to that extent as it was in case of CRS. In case of CRS, the shiftings are same. In case of DRS, it is not. Okay. Okay. So I will continue in the next class. Hopefully in the next class, I will finish the discussion. Then the question answer is different.
Ma'am, what is our reference for this chapter?
Yes, same Pindyke.